Tire spikes. Simply the best tire spikes available can be made at home, crafted by you. Today, we're going to learn how to make tire spikes just like the pros. Both National Geographic Doomsday Preppers and Discovery Channel Mythbusters have already released videos on how to make tire spikes, but the design we're going to reveal here today far surpasses both of those designs. These tire spikes are composed of two pieces of welded 6-gauge galvanized metal wire. Each of the tire spikes has 4 sharp metal points. They are bent in such a manner that no matter which way they are placed, one of the spikes is always pointed directly upward. I will say that these are the real deal, and if you choose to make any of these, you're going to want to respect them just like you would respect a sharp knife. There's a lot of videos on knife making, and just like a sharp knife, you have to respect the blade. You're going to want to respect all 4 points of these tire spikes. I have sliced my hand open on the tips of these before, and also check your local laws before manufacturing any of these if you live in California or similar. And of course, these are only to be constructed in the event of the apocalypse and the grid down to protect your life and the life of a loved one. So how do we start? Well, first off, you're going to need to find a source for the proper metal. And the best source for that is going to be a farming supply store. And you're going to want to buy a feedlot panel. I got my feedlot panel from Tractor Supply, and it's the 5-foot by 16-foot by 4-inch by 2-inch steel mesh made of 6-gauge wire is the exact panel that I ended up picking up. So a brand new feedlot panel currently retails for $109. But when you go to Tractor Supply or some other farming supply store, see if they happen to have a damaged panel on hand. I was able to locate a damaged fencing panel that actually had a curled in corner, and I was able to get that piece at a significant discount from the store manager. And then I ended up just cutting that corner off, and it didn't affect the project at all, of course. And you're probably also asking, how am I going to get home a 16-foot long section of fencing without a trailer? Well, what I did is I just actually cut the feedlot panel right in half on the pavement in the Tractor Supply parking lot. And that way I have 2 8-foot sections, and that's much easier to transport with a normal pickup truck. Okay, so now once you have the feedlot panel back at home, now what do we do to start making the tire spikes? This is a partially processed piece of the panel here. You can get the idea. You're going to want to lay the metal panel down on a hard surface like pavement or concrete. This is going to make the wire easier to cut. And you're going to need a pair of bolt cutters to process down and cut the wire. As you cut each row, you're going to be making a strip of wire crosses and then a strip of waste material. The strip of wire crosses will look like this. We will be cutting these down further, and the waste material will look like this. These sections will just be tossed in the trash later. As you go along and cut the wire, it's going to be the easiest to cut if you do the boot and lift technique. You're going to want to lift the wire with your boot several inches off the pavement as you go along cutting. This will enable you to both cut faster and also make better cuts, which ideally you want to do at a 45-degree angle to ensure that there's a proper tip on the end of each spike. Once you have your strip of wire crosses, you're going to cut those out individually. These will become the tire spikes after you bend them. Just like the main portion of the fence, it will probably be helpful to do the same lift technique with your boot and then move down the wire as you continue to cut each wire cross out. And you're going to separate each one just like this. Okay, we have all our 6-gauge wire crosses cut out. Now keep in mind that 6-gauge wire really is going to be the sweet spot for tire spikes. The next step is going to be to bend each one of these spikes into the proper position. You can't bend that wire with your bare hands. So I found that the best way to isolate the wire is to use old-fashioned wooden file handles. These are actually used to hold various size metal files. These end up being perfect for our needs here because they have the hole in the handle, which is a great size for the 6-gauge wire. You can buy a pair of these off Amazon for just $5. I'll leave the link below. So what you're going to do is isolate the two opposite side spikes and bend them both in towards the weld, just like this. After one set is bent, you'll do the same with the remaining two spikes and bend them in towards the weld as well. Keep in mind that these galvanized welds are very strong. What you want to do is have the angles of all the bends support each other, so no matter which way the tire spike sits, there will always be a spike pointing straight up. Some of you remember the game of jacks, and just like jacks, no matter how you toss the spikes, they'll always end up and land with a spike pointing directly up. Now keep in mind, I think you're going to find some of your tire bends are going to be slightly off, and 10 to 20% of the bends you make just won't be ideal to what you're looking for with tire spikes. So you're probably going to want to separate those. But 80 to 90% of the spikes that you're bending probably are going to come out just perfect. So what you can do is you can just separate that 10 to 20% that's slightly off and then have different containers for the ones that are just coming out perfect. You're probably going to have a bucket with all your pre-cut wire crosses and then other containers for your tire spikes. And after all your wire crosses are pre-cut individually, you can just toss them in that bucket anyway, and then you can just slowly bend them out over time, say when you're watching videos or something. So the final product is going to stand an average of 2 3/4 inches off the ground, with each spike having an average length of 2 1/4 inches. And in the final product showcase, we feature the traditional galvanized tire spikes, the envy of any Mad Max road warrior, sure to last till the apocalypse and beyond. Then we have our flat mud brown tire spikes, hard to see in the dirt and terrible for your danners. Lastly, we feature OD green tire spikes, the galvanized spikes of the jungle floor. Please exercise extreme caution with use. So now you can see how we can turn a section of farming fence into several hundred top quality tire spikes. Now this really is the most time efficient and cost effective method available. Please let me know in the comments below what type of prepper videos you would like to see. And if you're interested in taking a look at another cool prepping idea, check out this video right here.